Hi, this is Antonio Vargas, your teacher of Platonist philosophy, and I'm going to be summarizing today the contents of the third volume of the Cambridge translation of Proclus's Commentary on Plato's Timaeus. Now, this volume is dedicated to the body of the world, so the four elements, the shape of the world, and other matters, which we'll get into in a second. But at first I want to just address the concern, which is like, the body of the world, their physics was different. We know a lot more about the natural world now. Why would I be interested in studying about the body of the world as Proclus understands it? Well, for Proclus, the world isn't just the bodies that we see and that happen to be arranged all together in one universe. And it's not just one of many universes. For Proclus, the things that are perceptible, that we can see and touch and smell, and that we see changing, are, by their very nature, organized into a whole. And Proclus's arguments still retain a lot of value on a transcendental level, that is, as a reflection about experience and why experience has certain structures and should be shaped in a certain way. Now, Proclus's commentary on the remainder of the Timaeus is organized according to what he calls the 10 gifts of the demiurge. Following the Timaeus narrative of a divine craftsman, the demiurge, that bestows order upon the world, he sees Plato's account of the activity of this craftsman as him bestowing on the originally chaotic masses that preceded the cosmos more and more perfect gifts. In this volume on the body of the world, he deals with 6 of those gifts. In total, there are 10. And each gift is supposed to be greater and greater and greater. So the first gift is the fact that we can see and touch the world. It's visibility and solidity, which for Proclus is the basis for why you have to say that there's fire and earth in the world. And here you already see how his theory of elements is based on an analysis of our experience of the world. And after that, there's the second gift, which is bond and proportion, the fact that the different elements of the world are connected. So, and it's because of the need to connect between sight and touch, he introduces then between fire and earth the elements of water and air. And he not only discusses the 4 elements, but he also discusses the unity of the world as a whole and what in ancient philosophy were called the sympathetic bonds that unite the world. The fact that there are correspondences between things that happen in different places, for instance, between the tides and the moon, or also astrological phenomena. And so this is where he discusses that, the second gift of bond and proportion. Then in the third gift, he makes it complete, which means that he makes each of the elements, as it were, a world unto itself. And this will be much more important later, where we see that he thinks that there are living beings proper to each of the elements. It should be also noted that in his discussion of the 4 elements, he also enters into a discussion with Aristotle. So Aristotle famously introduced the idea of a 5th element, quintessence, the ether, which would be the substance that makes up the heavens. And this was against Plato and all other philosophers before him, who thought that the heavens were made up of the same thing down here. And Proclus tries to steer a middle path, saying that Aristotle is right against a vulgar interpretation of Plato, but if we read Plato properly, we see that he means that the heavens are composed of the same elements down here, and mainly fire, but it is a very refined, a very simple form of fire. And so he sees many gradations of different elements, depending on whether they're on the Earth and its atmosphere, so the area close to us that we interact with, or whether they're far away. So, and then after the completeness of the world, he talks about its form, right, and the fact that it's a sphere. And here, as part of the sphere, there's also a question of if it's a living being, as Proclus following Plato says it is, what are its organs? And the fact that it doesn't have separate organs of perception, it doesn't have hands and eyes. And so he talks about how the world perceives the things within it by including them within it. And also how the spherical shape is a perfect shape and is fitting for the world as a necessary structure of experience and not just a contingent individual that could have many different possible shapes. And then fifth, he talks about the self-sufficiency of the world, the fact that it doesn't depend on being fed by anything exterior to it. That's the fifth gift. And the sixth gift is its cyclical motion, which isn't just the cyclical motion of the heavens. It's all the cyclical processes in the world, the fact that the world has a cyclical structure. So these are the first 6 gifts of the demiurge to the world, right? Visibility and solidity, bond and proportion, completeness, shape, spherical shape, self-sufficiency, and cyclical, periodical life and process. And they are the gifts that determine what the shape, what the body of the world is like. And in the following volumes, we get a look into the soul or mind of the world, and then even more the nous or intelligence that governs it, and even the divinity of the world. And we'll be seeing that in the next few volumes, which I'll be summarizing in these videos. Thanks.